FYI girls, I'm here today with Zoe Yaworsky, and she's down here visiting BC headquarters from Mackay today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zoe, for coming down. She's actually competing tomorrow at the Amanda Doherty Classic, so putting her foot in the waters with the IFBB for the first time. So I think she's doing the figure first timers.
Yes.
So good luck with that tomorrow.
Thank you.
I hope all goes well.
Yeah, me too.
So I guess I just wanted to maybe get some tips and learn a little bit about you today. So how many shows have you actually competed in?
Oh, wow.
So far?
Oh, let's see. I've done 3 seasons plus Vegas, so I think I would have done maybe 10 shows, 10 or 11 shows.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I would call that reasonably experienced.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've been around.
You have indeed. So I guess let's take it back a little bit to maybe we crossed paths, what, 12 months ago?
Yeah, 12 months ago, yeah.
Okay. One of the first things that a girl looking at competing tends to do is look for a coach. So when you were looking around for one, what was it that you were looking for, Zoe?
I did a lot of research into finding this coach. I asked around, I asked people that have been in the industry for quite a long time and know a lot of people. I followed Ingrid's page for many months actually. I saw that you answered all the questions, how you answered the questions, and that your knowledge really came through. The way that you, how do I say this? Your nutritional philosophies and your diet, your approach to eating, that all really spoke to me and my own beliefs. So that was really, really important to me because, like you, health comes first before competing. Your coaching style seemed great. Your history seemed great as well, and your training techniques. So really, another really big thing is the whole nurturing side that you get from Ingrid and this team. That was really, really important, especially as a female. To have that female relationship was really, really important too.
And I might add, I guess a year later, we're really building on that, aren't we?
Yeah,
which
so
is really nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it's pretty impressive considering we're like at opposite ends of the country and we can still have that relationship. So
yeah,
that speaks volumes about you as well.
Must admit, yeah, I do think of Zoe as my mitten. Okay, well, you touched on like health and nutrition being important. So can you maybe give a bit of an outline as to what did I have you eating? Like what kind of foods, and was your prep to Vegas in line with you?
Oh, absolutely. The things that you prescribe in your preps are what I kind of eat most of the time anyway. So it wasn't a massive change for me to go into a comp prep with you because like you were talking in your video with God, see, this is where you need
That's okay, that's okay. Was it Jai or
No. Video we watched last night.
Oh, Damon.
Damon. You know, how you were talking about that, you know, being an athlete it's 24/7, it's all year round. It's not just when you step on stage, when you get ready to step on stage. So, like, all my nutrition is geared up around being that athlete, I suppose, and that health. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. And that's really interesting though, because I guess if you eat those kinds of foods, you probably, that's possibly one of the reasons why you don't have that massive weight fluctuation from off season to stepping on stage. I mean, what was the weight difference from 10 weeks ago to now? What would it be?
Probably 6 or 7 kilos.
6 or 7 kilos, yeah, max.
So always staying around the same, that small window, I suppose. And that's healthy for your body because it's very stressful to even lose 15 kilo in that short period of time of 10 to 12 weeks. Absolutely.
You know, that's a stressor.
No, it's good. having that 12 weeks, I think, is enough for me because we keep me in that, 6-7 kilo range outside of my comp weight.
And it really doesn't go into that sense of a long period of denial and deprivation either.
Oh, absolutely. Like I don't really get a lot of cravings, and I don't really struggle too much with, not having certain things towards the end. Because the nutrition is pretty spot on.
Okay.
I don't think you should have massive cravings. It's all up here. If the diet's right,
I think that's a really interesting point. And I would agree with you that you shouldn't be having those cravings, and you don't need to actually have the cravings if you're managed right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's talk about the travel from where did you fly out to go over to Musclemania? Somewhere in Queensland?
From Mackay to Sydney.
Yep. Okay, so from Mackay to Sydney over to Las Vegas, what did you have to do in terms of your food and your prep? What were you allowed to do and take, and what weren't you? And did you have any difficulties over there? I think I seem to recall a couple of times I had a couple of Facebook messages saying, I can't find X or can't find Y, what could I substitute? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
The travel over there, that was pretty interesting. You normally have to be pretty organised to travel when you're competing, but this was even more important because of customs and the rules and regulations. I mean, you can't even take a tin of tuna because of the liquid content. So everything had to be put into plastic bags. Now, you can imagine you had to squeeze the water out of the sweet potato and the chicken. It was like mush in a bag. But we were all in the same boat. We were all sitting there with our mush in a bag with a fork, So, luckily no one had their food taken off them.
Right.
So we were all quite safe.
That would have been most inconvenient.
Oh yeah. I don't think they appreciated on the flight, the air hostesses, how much water we were getting through. We had them going back and forth for, hours of the flight. They couldn't believe how much water we were drinking, but, it had to be done.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was all fine. Like, we managed. The food over there in Vegas, I mean, it's hard to even find, a head of broccoli over there. It's really hard to find, healthy food. Couldn't find certain things that I needed for my peak day and those few days leading up, but, we got around it.
Yeah.
We had to substitute.
Made some substitutions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Peanut butter. The only thing I could find over there was the really high salt, high sugar. Everything over there has 10 times more sugar added to it than probably the products that we have here in Australia. So that was difficult, but we worked around it.
Yeah. So that just probably requires a bit of foresight when you're going to places like America, doesn't it?
Ring Vegas first and see what they got.
Actually, that leads me to one of my philosophies with contest prep. I know that a lot of coaches don't agree with it, but I'm really big on, if you're not lean and you're not ready and you've got a show on the Saturday or the Sunday, by Wednesday, you're not ready. I'm so fickle and stubborn when it comes to that. And I remember you being over there and saying, gee, but well, the whole team's hitting the gym, Ingrid, are you sure I should be resting?
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely, Zoe, because what we want to do is get your hormones, particularly your cortisol, right down and not signalling that you're in any state of distress, because we've got enough dealing with the flight over, the hydration issues, and the sleep disruption. Why add another thing into that equation? But you were quite concerned, weren't you?
Oh, well, it's hard when everyone on your team is down at the gym, and you're up there just sort of watching a movie in your room going, oh. Well, you can play with your head even though that's the right thing to do.
Did it, and I know, I trust that you did that, but does that still, what do you think of that as a philosophy? Do you like going into a comp prep nice and rested?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I just figure also, you don't want to be suffering from DOMs from a massive quad workout 48 hours before you're up on stage flexing. Like, to me, that just makes sense, doesn't it?
But like you said, you know, if you're not ready a few days out, no matter what you do, you're never going to be ready.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, 3 days, like what, 2 extra workouts, what's that going to do? Build another kilo of muscle? No, I don't think so.
And yet you will have girls on the treadmill the night before the show.
Yeah.
I'll delay putting my tan on until 10 o'clock at night because I need to get my last lot of cardio done. Yeah. I just think that's crazy. So girls, you know, make sure you've you know, set a deadline that's probably 4 days out from your show. You've got enough other things to run around with your makeup and your hair and da-da-da-da. And then you just want some time to maybe do some visualization techniques and things. The last thing I was going to touch on just with today's, was going to be a 2-3 minute interview. It's turned into 7 or 8. Is
with lots of ums and ahs.
at least it's authentic and honest.
No airbrushing here.
The last thing was, and I mentioned this to Jai and Renata yesterday, and I said the thing that I really like about Zoe, apart from being lovely, is being really well grounded and not being what I would term as a coach a really obsessive athlete. Good head on her shoulders, but her life, if you go onto her Facebook page, it's full of the joys of life. We're dealing with the relationship, you know, her boyfriend Carl and the new puppy Harriet, and then she's meeting up with the girls for coffees and lunches, and I know that she has a close relationship with her mum, and she works hard as a graphic artist, and I just think, wow. Actually, last time she was down, she was telling me about art classes, and I thought, well, how does this girl fit all this in? But it seems to me that you live a really balanced lifestyle, and I know that you really love competing.
Yeah.
But it's not the be-all and end-all. So do you have any words of wisdom for perhaps the girls entering the sport in terms of how do you get the balance in the body?
I think one thing that always sticks in my head, and you know, I'm going to bring my mum into this, she has taught me from a really young age that you try to put 100% into everything you do, right? So 100% into your business or your job, 100% into your health, 100% into your relationship, your friends, blah, 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 blah. That way, if one of those things falls down, you've got the others to hold you up, you know? Life isn't over because one thing might be suffering, you know, get your heart broken, oh my God, you know, everything else falls flat. So I think that's what always sticks in my head. But as well, I think where people might go a little bit wrong with their competition self is that becomes who they are, and that's their identity, whereas no, but you know, sure, if you're a professional and that's your career, you know, and that's who you are, then sure, but you know, to most of us, you know, it's not, and you can't have that as your identity because that's not who you are. You know, that's a few days out of the year. You know, what about the rest of it? You know, and I think yeah, it's so important to have that balance. Yeah. Really.
Yeah, and I think that you do that really well. And I think, aren't mums wise?
Yes!
Yeah. Here's to mums. Look, thanks so much for taking some time out. Really appreciate it. It's been really good talking with you. And I know that the girls will have loved listening to everything that you've had to say. So thank you, Zoe.
Thank you.